Hey folks, Pat here from DNS. This Madison area fishing report is current as of January 19th. Before we get started, I do want to stress that this report is for current conditions as of today's date. Many factors can cause ice conditions to vary, so please be careful no matter where you fish. For up-to-date ice conditions, please feel free to call the shop at 608-241-4225 and we'll tell you what we're hearing around town. I do have a bunch of stuff I want to go over quick before we get into the mix here. Last week, I mentioned that lake access permits expired on December 31st. I was incorrect there. Thanks to everybody who let me know about that. I was looking at the county site, which wasn't super clear. Here on the city website, it's very clear. It's a 15-month permit from January 1st to March 31st. So if you had your permit last year, you're good until March 31st. And I'll try to remember to let everybody know that. I get a lot of questions here at the shop about ice conditions, in particular on Lake Mendota. So I wanted to let everybody know about a couple resources you can check online. Of course, this isn't the end-all, be-all, say on what's going on, but this website, mendota.today, I don't even know what they do here, but they have a couple cameras up that look out over Lake Mendota. Here's a good shot of the Union, so you can kind of see it's a live webcam that you can log on to and check out. And then they have a shot here that's sort of facing north. I think that's Edgewater over there. And so yeah, you can see, at least from this view, the lake looks pretty capped over, but we're going to talk more about that later. The Center for Limnology, if you just Google Mendota webcam, Madison, Wisconsin, you'll find a few different cameras that come up. This is the Center for Limnology, which kind of is on the west side of the Union, also facing, it looks like north here. So, but yeah, the lake over on this end looks pretty good, but we'll talk about conditions out there later. Just wanted to let you guys know about those resources there. And I guess I mentioned the Edgewater there. I wanted to mention an event coming up. They'll be the Clean Lakes Alliance, which is a good group, working on protecting our lakes, has their Frozen Assets Festival coming up, and that's Saturday, February 3rd. I know that there's a couple events going on in the area that day, but this is a cool one. It's right at the Edgewater. They do a whole bunch of stuff. They got a race and food and all kinds of games for kids and stuff like that. And they're a good group. So if you're looking for something to do next Saturday that doesn't involve ice fishing, maybe check this out. Or if you're ice fishing and want to avoid this area of the lake by the Edgewater, yeah, maybe you want to do that. So depends on how you look at it, but just wanted to let folks know. We had in the shop on Wednesday a bunch of folks from the Yahara Fishing Club, a bunch of troublemakers here, putting together a bunch of rods for the kids fishing day that they're hosting this, or not this Saturday, but next Saturday. I got, let's see, the website is here on the Yahara Fishing Club .org website. Kids Fishing Day is January 27th at Brittingham Park. So that's down on Monona Bay, right at the shelter there. And this is just a great event. If you've got kids that you think might be interested in ice fishing, or maybe you want to check out ice fishing yourself and got some kids, you got to have kids to get in there. But they give away free poles to the kids. They got members on hand. We got a poster here that I also have hanging up on the door. But it's for kids 14 and under. You walk away with a free fishing rod and reel, live bait provided by DNS here. Happy to support them. And then they pre-drill all the holes and they offer instructions. So it's a great opportunity to get kids interested in fishing. And Monona Bay is always a pretty safe bet as far as trying to find fish. So yeah, happy to support that event. And I'd encourage everybody to support the Yahara Fishing Club. They do a lot of great work. A couple other events coming up that folks should know about. The shop also sponsors the Kicker Cup over here. So these are some great folks doing a really cool event. They do a bass summer tournament and they do these winter tournaments. Their first one, it's been delayed here a couple weeks because of no ice, but is going to be on Monona Bay on January 21st. So that's this Sunday from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you want to enter, $180 per team. Yeah, it's a cool event. Check it out if you want to test your skills against some of the best in the area. I just had a guy in the shop here this morning come down from Rhinelander to fish this, so the word's out and people are excited about tournaments like this, and we're happy to support it. And if you don't want to enter, maybe just avoid Monona Bay that day because there's going to be some folks crawling around there because that's on the 21st. Also wanted to let you know about the Wisconsin fishing team is hosting their Badger Battle on the Bay, January 27th. So that's the same day as the Kids Fishing Day. That's on Monona Bay. So they're going to be out there too. So Monona Bay is going to be pretty crowded with folks on the 27th. But this is another great group, Wisconsin fishing team. They do, this would help fund some of their tournaments they got to travel to and stuff like that. $15 early registration, $20 late. They got a bunch of prizes, raffle tickets, kind of your standard issue fishing, fishery type thing. So yeah, check that out. I guess that's that. I do have, let's see, fishery posters up here. This weekend, there's the Marshall Lines Ice Fishery Festival going on up there to Marshall. Check that out. And then next week, like I said, on the 3rd, there's a few events going on. Two on Lake Koshkonong, this icebreaker event that's being held by the Wisconsin Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, and also this ladies ice fishing tournament or fishery, or I'm not sure what you want to call it, but it sounds like fun. So that's going down on Kosh. And then, of course, I got a poster here for the Kids Fishing Day. Also, drinking with scissors, if you tie flies or are interested in tying flies or fly curious, as they say. I got a schedule up here. These are cool events, tying flies. The next one is January 23rd at the Muska Lounge. And if you haven't been to the Muska Lounge, check it out. It's a cool bar. If you like fishing and you like good drinks, that's the place for you. Okay, I think that's it for commercials. So thanks for hanging in there. As far as the report goes, bitter cold temperatures this last week with highs hovering around 0 for several days really turned things around as far as ice coverage goes on the Madison chain. The forecast has things warming up a little bit this weekend before a big jump in the highs with temps in the mid-30s through next week and a chance of rain a couple days. I'm not super worried about the rain. It doesn't sound like we're going to get much, and they're kind of backing off it, maybe talking snow now, so we'll see what happens. But either way, the temps are going to stay cool enough. I don't think we'll lose any ice. But yeah, like I said, what a difference a week can make. The bitter cold temps took us from basically no ice this time last week to basically complete ice coverage on the Madison chain today. I'll go over specific ice conditions as we go through the report, but outside of some areas on Lake Mendota, folks are fishing most places around the chain with rough ice near shore in some spots. That gives some folks some headaches getting out. But with the bitter cold, there haven't really been a ton of reports coming in, but folks are definitely out there and getting fish. Also, at this part of my report, I'd normally be talking about river conditions. We're going to lay off that for a while till things thaw out. But get into some more detail here up to Cherokee. Last week, this time we had 1.5 inches up there with, maybe some slush on top, and we were getting dumped on with snow. Right now, there's about 6 inches, I've heard, as far out as you can go. Do be careful of the channel that's out here. Going to be thinner ice way out there, but I've heard as little as 6 inches all the way up to 12 inches near shore. I haven't heard a lot of action up there on the panfish side of things. In my experience, Cherokee isn't the best to fish when it's bitter cold like this, but things warm up. I think things might pick up there. They have been getting some good pike and bass up there on tip-ups. 113 bridge too, not going to talk much about that. She's all iced up down there and will be that way for quite a while, I think. Out here on Mendota, so there's a lot of people calling the shop asking about ice conditions out here. Mendota was quote unquote officially declared iced over on the 15th, and I've heard about folks finding 4 to 5 inches in most places, but there are definitely still some spots you want to avoid and maybe even open areas out there. At least as of yesterday, there were a couple. And the thing about this dusting of snow we got last night might make things tough, spotting tricky ice. So please use caution no matter where you fish, or maybe just give it a few days here yet, because we still got some cold temps through the weekend. But areas that are currently or have recently had open water include there's a big patch west of Governor's Island here, almost stretching out to North Bay. There's a little pocket kind of between Governor's Island and Dunn's Bar. I heard about a pocket off Fox Bluff over here. There was a big area kind of to the west of Second Point. And this is all, Wednesday. This was open water. So I'm not sure the actual current conditions. It may have skimmed over and may be covered with a dusting of snow. So definitely are going to want to be careful out there. There's a bunch of smaller pockets throughout the main basin out here too. So if you're going to fish on Mendota, I would stay in shallow areas. I've heard about good ice in a lot of your shallow areas. Warner Park folks been on that. I think the very far west end, all your Marshall Park, Spring Harbor's got ice, University Bay, all those are in pretty good shape. But just want you to be careful no matter where you fish out there. Otherwise, I did want to mention too, places like Warner Park, and it sounds like the the west shoreline over here have some really chunky ice that froze out there, so navigating that can be difficult. So wear your creepers if you're out there. Down on Monona Bay, same thing with that sketchy, chunky ice along the east or west. I'm sorry, east shoreline over here. But out on Monona, I've been hearing folks are out. I've heard 4 to 5 inches everywhere yesterday, so maybe 5 or 6. By today. The bitter cold has kept a lot of folks off there, and the fact that it's pretty new ice. I think it iced over on Monday last week, so haven't heard a lot of reports out off the lake itself. But down here to the triangles, folks have been fishing that for a while. Give it a quick pause here. And we're back. So yes, Monona Bay and the triangles down here have been uh, basically the best bite in town as far as panfish go. A lot of action up here in the North Triangle and throughout Monona Bay. They've been up here in the North Triangle. They've been getting bluegills, the occasional crappie, a couple nice walleye come out of there. Monona Bay, same thing. But yeah, it sounds like some good action down there for panfish. Over to Winger, I haven't heard much going on, but they definitely have ice. And if you've got a young person, especially, it's full of tiny panfish, and you can keep kids busy for quite a while. So if you got somebody young you want to get out on the ice, that's a great spot. Also, some good pike in there too, or bass. Down here to Turtle Bay and Wickawuck Bay, I haven't heard of anything coming out of there, but I know there's ice on Turtle, and I think Wichawuck Bay, formerly Squaw Bay, is also safe by now. But haven't heard any reports out of there. Like I said, everything's still pretty new. Up here on Upper Mud, folks are getting back there, and there is plenty of ice from what I hear, 6 to 8 inches. And the only thing that I've heard is a complaint about the path back there. I know the first guys that went out messaged me and said they got back there and they were through waist deep snow in some spots. But I did hear yesterday there was at least 10 or a dozen guys out there. And so, as folks go back and forth on the trail here, they're going to, make the trail even better. So I imagine it's at least passable now. And if we can get some ATVs, going through there, then it'll be plenty wide and plenty beat down. Down on Wabisa, they've been running ATVs on Wabisa since Wednesday. I don't have much to report other than a few guys that have been out in the main basin looking for perch, not having much luck. But I know folks are down here between Babcock and Bible Camp doing looking for walleyes. Haven't heard any reports back yet, though. All this stuff is pretty new. But as far as folks getting out in the bitter cold keeps people away too. But that's all going to change here real quick when things warm up. But anyway, not much to report off Wabisa other than they do have good ice. Plenty of ice up here on Lake Farm. Harley that works here at the shop was up there. He didn't have any luck up there, but yeah, plenty of ice out there. Same thing down on Kegonsa. I don't really have much to report other than some perch guys getting skunked out in the basin. But yeah, it sounds like plenty of ice. They're running ATVs. You're looking for walleyes. The state park is a great place to start. Otherwise, I know like this kind of southeast end of the lake in the weeds there can hold some good bluegills. But you got to search for them. They don't come easy. Down here on Koshkonong, I heard they got ice anywhere from 6 to 12 inches, depending where you're at. I imagine the 12 inches would be back in these secluded bays, and the 6 inches would be out in the main lake. But sounds like they're getting some walleyes. I saw a report of some crappies too. Nothing to report out of the river. That's going to also be not much of a thing for a while. Beaver Dam's got ice. Haven't heard much out of there. They got a good walleye population up there, though. Devil's Lake, I know a few guys have come through the shop and heading up there looking for trout. They definitely have ice up there. I've not heard any reports back, though. The Wisconsin River, same thing. Not going to talk about the river itself much anymore. At least till things thaw out. But Lake Wisconsin definitely has ice. There was somebody that went through tragically on Sunset Bay, a snowmobile. I heard the guy's still in the hospital. So I hope everything works out there. But that was like Monday or Sunday or something last week. Things have been very cold since then. And from what I hear, the lake is pretty much locked up. But of course, on a place like this, especially where you might have current coming in up here by the river, do use caution in those areas. But I have heard good reports out of areas, like the Harmony Grove, the bay over here, the Fingers, of course, have ice. Over here to Wayland's Grade, I've heard about some panfish, more like tip-ups, some small pike and bass coming out of there. Haven't heard too. Actually, no, I take that back. I was going to say I didn't hear much from walleye guys, but I did talk to one guy who got into some good walleyes up there. He was pretty tight-lipped, but um, got into. He said he got into some good walleyes on Lake Wisconsin. Not much to report from the Dells Dam. Haven't heard anything out of Castle Rock and Petenwell. I know they have ice, but again, just we just give it a little time here, and we're going to have a lot of reports coming through. But folks just haven't really been out that much with the cold. The Mississippi River, same deal. All the backwaters up and down the river are going to have um, great ice all the way down, Prairie du Chien, Cassville, up to La Crosse. Everywhere has got ice. All the backwaters should be great, in good shape. Same thing goes on the Wisconsin River. There's some great backwaters, Boscobel, Blue River, Muscadet, all through here. Those are fun to fish if you want to get away from the crowds of Madison. But I haven't heard any specific reports out of there, but all those should be good with ice. What else? I guess Milwaukee, I haven't heard anything out of the harbors as far as reports, but those should be locked up, if not very close to locked up. Up here at Veterans Park is a great spot by Summerfest and that. But I haven't heard anything specific out of there. Of course, do use caution because that ice can be weird too. I guess other than that, oh yeah, trout season is still going on. I wasn't really thinking about it because it's been so bitter cold. And again, you do want to avoid trout fishing when it's very cold. It can damage the fish, pulling them out of the water. But this next week looks like some pretty comfortable temperatures. So if you can hack your way through the snow, you have some good opportunities to get out and catch some trout. Of course, it is the catch and release only season, which means you have to release anything you catch, and only artificial lures can be used. But it is a great time to get out and do some trout fishing. You don't have to deal with weeds and bugs and all that. When I go out this time of year, very popular fly are these midge nymphs. So what these are, a midge is like a mosquito, but without the sucky parts. So these are very tiny. You can see as compared to a dime here, these are size 20s, I believe. Maybe this one on top's an 18. But anyway, very small. It's hard to run these on their own. So what I like to do, dun 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 dun, pink squirrel. Just use a pink squirrel when you go out winter fishing. It's really the only fly you need. But sometimes I'll run a pink squirrel with one of these small midge nymphs behind it, and every now and then they grab the midge nymph before they grab the squirrel. So it's a good kind of dual rig there. I guess that pretty much does it for the reports. Again, I want to stress that everybody be careful out there on the ice. Do feel free to call the shop if you want us to expand on anything here, 241-4225. And yeah, post your comments and catches below. Love to hear how people are doing. Post ice conditions out there. If you know of any sketchy areas or great ice, let us know in the comments below. Otherwise, I do thank you for tuning in. And yeah, we're running a little long here, but appreciate your patience. And yeah, we'll talk next week and have a lot more to talk about, I'm sure, as folks are getting out on the ice. Take care and good luck out there.